Hello, everybody. Yeah. Hello. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, please.
Okay. Assalamualaikum, everybody. Thank you very much, Mr. Zaini. Very honored to be called upon to share my experience in the energy efficiency space. We talk about a lot about technicality on energy efficiency. I'm a bit nervous to tell you the truth today because I know the Mr. Zaini and his bunch of we call it friends, and also his group of people around him are highly technical people. So, but I'm glad that the focus, the topic that I'm giving today is about experience of setting up the energy efficiency business portfolio in two companies. I've got experience in convincing two owners to put in their money and become core products of the company, so that they will expand the energy efficiency business portfolio. So we are not basically we are not technically a technical audit company. We actually went into business of energy efficiency, looking at the opportunity of investing in the assets rather than doing audits, doing technical consultation. So with that, I'm sharing you how we went forward.
May I interrupt for a while? Okay. May I interrupt for a while? For those who have, I think I try to make it open, but for those who, if you have some kind of voice, as a background, you don't mind to switch off your phone so that you won't interrupt the session. Yeah, if you don't mind, please. Thank you very much. And you can open back when you want to have ask any question later. Thank you very much. Yes, you can please, Engineer Sam. Yes, please.
Okay. I'm sharing you my screen of the presentation that I'm going to give you. Not a lot. Okay, it's a simple presentation stating the case how I managed to convince the two companies. One was a company was owned by Khazanah. So imagine trying to convince Khazanah Nasional in putting in their money, their pool of money for their company. And currently, the company that I'm working right now, it owns by also another government entity, which they have never been into business. Also convincing them to put their money so that we can grow the energy efficiency portfolio. So first place that we ask, I'll be covering the topic of the area of coverage will be why we started, why I propose energy efficiency as a business model within the company, and not to focus on consultancy or audits, but more towards asset investment. And I'll compare that with the renewable energy sector. I'm fortunate to also be involved or was involved in renewable energy, building up power plants, building up renewable power plants. So there are basically two kinds of business core business risk and mitigation with that too. So I'll show you the comparison why energy efficiency becomes another part of the investment portfolio within the company, and then we go how you start to invest and how to get the financing, because I think for every projects that we do, we don't use our own equity, right? We use our own cash. We'll try to finance the project either by way of debt financing or whatever financing. But essentially, I think we don't use our money lah. We use other people's money or the bank's money to get the projects up. So I think that's normal in any business world, right? You don't use your money lah. We use other people's money. And I'll share you with the challenges that I faced, and some summary. Last but not least, the summary is the takeaway points that you probably want to we can discuss and take home after this. Okay, why energy efficiency? Well, I did this during in early 2000, early 2000. We did a study, and luckily in 2011 there was this study by REX Capital Asia And I think the numbers here, it's still, we can still use the numbers because the amount of investment opportunity is huge, You can see that the market in the commercial and industrial sectors goes into billions of dollars, right? In the US dollars for the South Asian market. And Malaysia itself has got an opportunity for investment up to about 1 B. So this is only considering the commercial sector, not taking into account the industrial sector. This is solely focusing on energy efficiency market. So whether you want to supply products, whether you want to do what do you call it, energy performance contracting, the market is still huge. And I think after 10 years, all of us know that we are not making any big inroads into EE. Everybody has been talking about renewable energy, and the latest trend is always solar energy. And right now, if you look at any agency, people talk about energy or EV cars. So energy efficiencies in Malaysia talks about the trend now is EV. But the market for building energy efficiencies, for industrial energies, they are still there, and it's still, I would say, very much slow to progress. And I think among us, Rames, Zaini will probably agree to this, that we are still very slow. So Zaini, in terms of investment energy efficiency, in terms of treating the energy efficiency. We are still crawling. Whereas when we started, I think Singapore and Thailand was a bit later than us, but somehow the Singapore market and Thailand market in energy efficiency is already leaps and bounds above us. So with this study, I managed to convince the board that look, do not just put one egg in one basket. We are just concentrating on renewable energy. Let's look at energy efficiency because it also contributes to the notion of sustainability. Yeah? So the next one, you look at my slides, it looks at the greenhouse gas emissions. Okay, when you talk about greenhouse gas emissions, we talk about sustainability. Everybody focuses on industry, the steel iron industry, the other the transportation. But if you look just at the energy use in buildings, it's big, and I think this is the thing that the group, the energy managers group, are trying to really push this forward. And I think even the government have been talking about energy efficiency, but things on the ground are still slow moving. So with a lot of factors why it is slow. So let's look at some of the factors that affected them. So among the reason that I put forward to my board, saying that why do we need to depend solely on all RE, renewable energy? Okay, so renewable energy I listed here. This is basically no-brainer list where what we've got in Malaysia. Everybody in the RE sectors knows very well. It's not as easy to build the biogas or biomass power plant, not easy to have a landfill, medium solid waste, everything, because this one all depends on your securing either land rights or the feedstock. Okay, so there are a lot of risk being taken into consideration, and the investment is high, and the returns are, well, not so really great. And not all renewable energy it's feasible in Malaysia. If you look at wind and wave, not feasible at all, I would say, unless you go for an offshore wind, which is right in the middle of the ocean, and try to bring back that energy to onshore. That is the problem. But having said that, these are quite popular because the government put up feed-in tariff to spur the renewable energy sector. Okay, so the current trend or the current interest is always been in solar, and rooftop now seems to be taking the pole position at the moment because the large scale solar it's an opportunistic. It is only depends on government releasing the bid, the big bids. So rooftop solar now, it's attractive where you can directly negotiate with the client, and you can get your returns from negotiating with the clients that favors you basically. Okay, so that's the whole scenario of in the RE sector. Okay. If we say that EE doesn't need capital, no, EE also needs capital. I'm just showing that. Looking at this diagram, you are probably familiar with this diagram. It's just showing that if you want more savings, then these are the steps that you need to do. Okay, the lowest hanging fruits are good housekeeping. You can get at least 10%. Good housekeeping is basically just change of behavior. This is any certified energy managers worth his salt would probably, just read this with your eyes closed. You can do, what to do. And what I'm saying is, if you look at to the right, that anything above the good housekeeping or anything above 20%, to achieve 20%, 30%, or even further higher savings, you need to put in money. You need to spend a lot of money, because it involves change in equipment. You got to replace equipment. You are retrofitting a lot of stuffs. So basically, it's just building a new facility, and that's why issue is when it gets to a certain level, you need to put in capital to achieve further savings. So this is where you need a commercial investment decision. Where to get the money, how to manage the returns and all that. So it's not so much of getting the higher savings, it's how to implement the savings, how to implement to get the savings. So this is where I think the topic that we are bringing up today, in who's going to come up with the capital, where we're going to get the capital, money is going to be we spend. If the facilities management or the owner would like to spend their own money, by all means, go ahead. I think we got no problem in asking the owner of the premise to spend their money. But the problem right now is the owner will ask, I'm not going to spend my money. Yes, I'm going to get the savings, but I would rather use the money for my business, right? They've got their core business, their money that they put in, rather put it into their core business and get better returns. So this is the dilemma that we are facing, where the owner says that we do not want to spend the money. Okay, let's look at how we can finance the project. So this is where I'm coming from. I ask my owner to come up with the money or to find the money to finance this project on behalf of the client. What we call an outsourcing of the projects, similar to any RE projects. It is a concession project, concession-based project, backed by the equipment as the asset. And they've got the concession contracts, and it will cost the client zero amount for investment, meaning whatever savings that they get, it's basically at zero investment. That's, I would say that it's an infinite in IRR return, cannot register because the baseline is zero. Okay, so that's how I interpret it lah. Let's look at the EE returns just across the board. Look at project IRR. I've give you the example returns. This is based on my own personal numbers.
May I interrupt?
Yeah, okay. Sure.
You mentioned just now, right, about convincing your company, right, to invest into that, Yep. Can I ask, why they decided to go for that? What made them go for that? What made them decided to, okay, let's not invest on this kind of EE. What the main factor?
Okay, the main factor is, as any businessman, they're looking at returns. So I'm showing to you right now the returns. This is RE.
All right.
Because my old company, they look at returns from RE. All right. So I've got like 10 years with the company. Two companies that their core business is already is in RE, renewable energy. Okay, if you look at the returns, okay, the first concept is we do not want to highly depend on just RE, because RE, to get one project, it's not really simple. There are also bidding process, and not every RE are available. You need to find a project which, you know, there are a lot of matters to be taken into consideration. One is whether your power plants or your plants are near the source of your fuel, and the position of your plant is near the what do you call it, transmission lines. A lot of factors to be taken care. And look at the project returns, that the appetite that usually, if with that kind of risk that you are putting in, all right, you are going into. So the board will always say that I want a return of about, you know, 15%, all right, 13%. Okay, this is looking at project IRR. Most of the projects are FIT bidding at this point of time. Before that, they were all fixed FIT, but right now there's FIT bidding, meaning you bid to get the project because there's a quota, and the project IRR goes low and lower. So you look at it from the slides. The last two are the only projects right now that it is not based on bidding, but you are competing against each other in the market, and you can actually negotiate your returns, or you negotiate your sales with the client. Hence, I put the EE. Okay, you put EE that the returns, it depends on how you negotiate the deal, how will be the client is acceptable to it. You can get as high as 20% IRR for EE. So as a businessman, as a business entity in the company, when they look at this, and they will ask, what will be their risk? So we say that risk of EE is a lot less than having a risk in renewable energy, in building up renewable energy. So with that, the board says that, okay, let's go into this, looking at potential business opportunity moving forward, rather than just depending on RE, because RE is quite, in Malaysia right now, is almost to a stage where there are plenty of players in the market. It all depends on quota bidding, and it's very, very tough at the moment. So look at the next level, which is the E. Okay. Okay, energy efficiency project models. Easy, either you sell your equipment. Normally, we started off by having energy efficiency equipment in terms of like probably lighting. All right, the famous one is LED lighting. You know, you sell your LED lighting, you sell high efficiency motors, you sell high efficiency chillers, or any equipment. You just sell and give the warranty product. That's it. That's the first business model to spur the energy efficiency market. Then when clients started say that, oh, we don't have the money to change our equipment, we don't have the money to retrofit, we don't have the money to turn our facilities into energy efficiency. So they look at other models of either lease the equipment. Okay, lease the equipment. So there are instances where leasing company come and lease the equipment. Chillers, they lease the chillers, they lease the certain heavy equipment, but none ever want to give a leasing loan or leasing program for LED lightings. So companies selling all this equipment are forced to themselves take loans and push their products to the client, because the client say that I do not want to spend any money, but can you just lease, or you probably I'll pay you in installments. So then comes the concept of having ESCO, energy services company, becoming that company that put up the capital and put up the performance guarantee. This is the program that we call, everybody knows it, EPC, Energy Performance Contracting. In this forum, everybody knows EPC as Energy Performance Contracting. But if you say this to EPC, to the general market, they will probably think it as engineering, procurement and construction, right? So please bear in mind that we talk about EPC here is Energy Performance Contracting. I'm proposing here to ESCO. So ESCO is an energy services company that's been set up to take on this capital investment. So for the company that you want to become ESCO, to become this player in the energy performance contracting, you must set up a company that's got to be registered as ESCO in Malaysia, a proper ESCO company. You register it with Suruhanjaya Tenaga. We're having all the prerequisites for that. So there are a lot of model of having energy performance contracting. I do not want to go into detail. I just listed there that there are model of either shared savings or probably no savings shared for the first couple of years, and after that you hand over the projects or the assets back to the client, and the client enjoy 100%. So let's not go into that. I'm just saying that the model is there. For the EE projects, having experience in trying to finance the project, you do not want to put in what do you call it, a technology which is not proven and untested and complicated technology. So I receive a lot of technology proposals which have not gone into commercial delivery yet. We just go for the simple and proven and being used anywhere in the world. Of course, having a track record in Malaysia would be preferable, because bankers in Malaysia, they would want closer to home technology to experience or case study has been in the market. So for an energy project that you convince the board, you will probably do not want to have a long-term contract. The contract should be around 5 to 7 years. That's quite common. But if that is, if there's involvement of huge, big assets like chillers and gas, gas turbine, okay, small micro turbines, or any boilers for that matter, you want to stretch it up to 12 or probably 15 years. But the thing is, you do not stretch it up to like RE, where it goes up to 20 to 21 years. That's different, because RE has got a big concession period where energy efficiency, you are trying to blend your assets. There are assets which life cycle is very small, very short. Talking about LEDs and some of the motors, life cycle are probably about 5, 7, 8 years or 10 years. So imagine if your contract is too long, then you'll probably face a period where you need to do an asset replacement to throw into that deal. So avoid long-term contract. You just go for a medium-term contract which suits the investment scenario of the equipment that you're putting in. In Malaysia, the typical size of investment will be a region of about 1 million. If it's any less than that, I would say that just use cash investment. You can't go for any project financing. It's just too the banks would not like, it's too small. But looking at bigger investment, don't go over more than 50 million unless you have the means to take that hit, the risk appetite. My experience, I've gone into investment above 100 million per investment deal. There's one more that recently secured, but that is something special, because the investment that I secured is basically quite a sweetheart deal, between basically group of companies lah. So you can do that. Okay. Preferably, if you want to land your deal, one deal first, and then you can easily replicate with the same client in multiple sites lah. So that's how you go and select your customer lah. Okay, and then when you talk to your investor or your board, that your minimum return is nothing less than 20%. You're talking about equity return. So it is achievable. The secret is in the financial modeling and operation modeling. So in financial modeling, it is not the technical model that is very important. It's also the financing, how you put in your cost and how you take the risk of payment risk and the financing matters into that financial model. The financial model to me is the most important part, where you need to have it tip top and proven financial model, so that it's easy for you to show your board and also the banks lah, to say that this is a proven financial model. This is where they can depart with their money, having seen that financial model. So financial model, I'm not going to show you today. It is a secret that we have developed, or I have developed for the past 10 years. Of course, I did not develop it on my own. I have to thank my previous team members, or before this in the two companies. I was fortunate to be working, to have been working with talented people that we developed that fine-tuned until now lah. A nice financial model which already recognized in the market. So that's another opportunity of courses lah, we call it. If you guys are interested in coming up with a technical and financial model for energy efficiency returns, that you can convince your board. I think you can talk to Zaini, Mr. Zaini. We can have a kursus. We can set up a special course on that lah.
Yeah, that's exactly my goal now. I want to more and more of energy managers to understand more financial, because you talk the same language with your financial controller. It's easier, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Continue. Yeah.
Okay. So talk to her. So anybody wants to know that financial model, how to do it, talk to Mr. Zaini. He's my agent lah for kursus on that one lah. Okay, financing sources, I don't have to go through that. There are a lot of sources available, funds available, commercial banks, leasing companies, private equity bonds, private equity funds and bond lah. So I do not want to go into this. Just
Engineer Idham, just to see from these financing sources, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Based on your understanding now, what are the current rate of interest now for the commercial bank, in Malaysia now, for the PE project, example?
Okay. For the current current rate of interest, it all depends on the company that you are working with lah. I mean, if you are in a GLC ataupun a strong big company, then you can get as low as 4 plus, I think, right now. Okay, close to 5. Yep.
Very good, huh?
Yeah, but
I thought, let's say normal company.
Normal company is still the same. You just put at probably about 6 now.
6, huh?
6, yeah, 6, 7. That's the market lah. 7.
All right.
And some what do you call it? Debt ventures company lah. So sometimes it's even higher than local from the commercial banks. They go up to as high as about 8 lah.
Thank you. Yeah, you can carry on. Yeah.
But again, this financing rate ni it depends on the strength of your backer lah, your ni lah. Not so much of who you are. Not I myself don't carry that ni lah. But it's basically the strength of the company that you're working lah, that you can get that. Okay. But otherwise, you have to work with about 6 to 7% at the moment. And there are a lot of other matters, not just interest rate. There are a lot of other things that comes into play. So I'll go into next one lah. Why you need the critical success factor to get the financing. Okay. So once you have convinced your board about the returns, the risk and returns of getting the projects, why they want to go into energy efficiency investment, then when you get the projects, all right, or before you get the projects, this is where you need to assess yourself whether banks are willing to finance you, banks are willing to go with you, to put the money, to lend their money to you and your company to get the projects. Okay. So first, you need to convince the bank that your team is strong. Your team must know not just technical. I think technical people are easily you can find in the market. Technical people, people who's got all these certifications. Expert in any. So that's plenty in the market. So no worries. Either you can develop yourself. Your team, you can also develop your team into technical experts, because technically I think we are all very we are all most of us here are engineers, I suppose, and technical is our next to nature lah, our nature. We easily get easy. But trying to translate that technical into commercial, that might be a bit well, not to say rare, but it's something not everybody likes to do that, because this financials are a bit again lah, it's not your normal cup of tea lah. We like numbers, but more technical numbers or engineering numbers, but we do not like numbers which is more of RM numbers. We like to see RM in terms of our gaji saja lah, our profit lah, ataupun our ni lah, but coming up with the model tu yang susah sikit lah. So anyway, you need to have that team that knows both technical and commercial. And when you talk about commercial, it's not just about the cost of equipment, it's also how the equipment operates and what it requires, and then the market, the market, what do you call it, the market pricing, and then the structure of the market in terms of utility pricing. All right, so everything has got to, and you got to even study because we are in a business where we depend on energy consumption. So you need to know the energy consumption pattern, in a particular building, particular industry, particular type of business. So you need to anticipate that. So you need what we call a techno commercial guy, I would say, right? And on top of that, you also need people.
Finance.
Techno finance. Correct.
Techno finance, yes.
So,
new jargon.
Yes, techno finance. And then you also need to know the risk and mitigation strategy, mitigation plan. You need to be able to assess the risk, all the risks, the technical and also the financial risk. So your team has got to consist all of that. And once you come up with that financial model, you need to test that financial model. You need to have it tested. And how you test that financial model, I would say that start off with a small project. That's why you need a trophy project. You need a trophy project, meaning a small project first lah, just to test your financial model against your technical and your financial model against the actual. So I was lucky lah to have a financial model and tested, because this is where I went back again with Encik Zaini here. We back in 2012, I think, 2013, where I got introduced through him. His company made the first investment in energy efficiency project in supermarket. Encik Zaini, in supermarket.
Yeah.
So I was fortunate that Zaini became the contact lah. He was, the one that introduced me to his company, and then well, of course, I came in with the money, right? So I was under Khazanah, so I got the money.
We came with the solution. Yeah, we came.
So we don't have the solution. So, but Zaini's company has got the solution. So he paired us up. So we made that deal, and that become the first lah. And then after that is you've got a financial model lah tested in the market. So and through that you also develop your documentation. The bank would want to see a document, your contracts, proven contracts, your proven commercial terms and conditions inside the contracts, that that they feel safe that what happens if this, then this will trigger in. So a lot of documentation you got to have beforehand, and not just to take things for granted, that the contracts are very easy. No, contracts are quite complicated, especially when you have clients which have got a advisor, technical advisor, and they go into technical rather than commercial. So you need to engage that. And another thing is choose the client. Choose the client. Not all companies or clients that you want to go into can easily be financeable. So sometimes the project is good, the client is big, huge, where that there's potential investment opportunity with the client, but their credit rating is bad, so we got to avoid. So that also came in from my experience with Zaini's old company. Last time we had this mall. We had this mall their bill was close to I think about 1 million, more than 1 million a month.
1.3 million.
Yeah. All right. So it's huge opportunity. Nice returns, we put in a very nice return. But when you look again at the credit rating, it's not because they are bad paymaster. It's just that because that mall is what we call, the concept is dipanggil strata title concept. So a strata title concept, it's they cannot sign a long-term agreement with you. So again, those are the things that you've done a lot, opportunities there, but because of the clients, that problematic lah, they panggil the type of client that they don't have any credit rating lah, because they are just a management company that manage the JMB lah, the joint measurable body, and because of that you cannot sign with the contract lah. So that's part of the challenge that you'll be facing, and of course lah, when banks is straightforward lah, you need money to make money actually. So the bank will also look at your ESCO punya financial strength lah. So when we started earlier, when Khazanah did not want to back us up, they said that they started the company, but they're not going to put in the money. So you are on your own. So we didn't go anywhere. So we need Khazanah's backing. So again, in my recent company now, in my current company right now, I'm working with UiTM Holdings. Pun sama juga lah. I'm facing we face the same problem that you want to start business, you need some injection. So luckily, our UiTM Holding is backed by UiTM itself, university itself, and luckily UiTM is, alhamdulillah lah, which is among all the universities, they are quite strong lah financially. If I were to work in a holdings company under a smaller university, then probably no financial strength is not that good, and it's very hard to get financing, right, in the market.
Nizam, I'd like to add on this something. Okay, I think one thing about this kind of big investment, one thing that you have to look as well, right? Based on my experience, I think our experience together last time, you need to even study the nature of the industry of the client, because we have to anticipate, right? Can that industry, the business, last the next 5-7 years, right?
Correct. Correct.
Because sometimes we have to do the study until we have to understand that particular market, how the market will like in the next 5 to 7 up to 10 years. If there is a tendency that even the business cannot stand for the next 10 years, we won't invest. I give you an example. Last time we have experience, investing in one so-called tube kind of TV, TV.
Yeah, tube, right? Picture tube, correct.
Yeah. But after that, right? Somehow we took the risk. Okay, we invested about 140 million in 3 stages. All right, but by the end, luckily, we just break even. All right, suddenly the tube TV business gone out. Suddenly LED plasma comes. So that's the risk that they're talking here. Not just your technical solution, your financing capability, also the nature of that industry. You have to see your client.
Correct. So that falls under the team yang atas tadi tu, where you need to do that risk study. The risk study is risk on, you are right, Mr. Zaini, which is the risk of the client in terms of their business continuity. So you might see that for that example, you see that the company he's a big company, Zaini,
It's
a huge company. It's a foreign company, huge company. They've been in Malaysia for quite some time.
Yeah, but now the factory gone already. You can't see the factory.
Yes, it's just because of, I think, with at that time, picture tube has.
Don't mention the name.
No. It's just a picture tube, okay? Because the business masa tu dah masuk, I think apa dia panggil TV apa?
Plasma.
Kita dah ada plasma.
Yes.
So plasma and so. This is a classic case. It even became a MBA punya course punya case study. Is about business continuity lah. Alright. I think we've seen a lot lah business discontinued because of the world market because the world market. Contoh, you look at the cerita Kodak film, right?
Nokia.
People have gone into digital.
Kodak, Nokia, all that.
So basically macam tu lah. When we do this energy efficiency, when we do about risk, we also take into that consideration. whether that business, the client business, is going to be there or not for the next 5 years. Hence, that's why I think when there's an earlier slide, I said that for this energy efficiency, don't take too long of the contract lah. Just sign for about the maximum 5-7 years be okay lah. Okay, all right. Okay, the challenges that we face that's to close the deal with the client. So I split this into the challenges lah. The challenges into sections lah. One with the client. Okay, client, when you talk with the client, when you talk about there are two types of client. One who are very, very well technically, they are technically well versed. Okay, they are technically versed. One, because their team has got a knowledge in energy consumption. Okay. Two, they employ a technical advisor. Okay, people like Mr. Zaini lah, yang terror lah, right? They employ people like Mr. Zaini to advise them. So very hard for me to argue on technical. So I don't argue on technical. I always say that, look, the reason kita masuk ni, people like the ESCO company and invest in energy efficiency, we are coming in to take your financial risk off you. Okay, to take away your requirement to put up capital, so that you take away that risk. But we are not challenging on technical superiority. Okay, because technically we are not there to improve the system to the most efficient. We can't do that because you already know what to do. The client knows what to do, how to achieve probably up to 60% of savings. But what we are there is trying to, like, okay, for you to achieve that 60%, you need capital. Okay, but with the capital that we put in, since you do not want to put in your own capital, I cannot commit at 60%. I can only commit at, let's say, 40%. Okay, and when I give you 40%, you don't argue, because I said to you that if you do not achieve that 40%, I will compensate you for that shortfall. So those are the strategy that I talk to the client rather than go head on technical. If you go head on technical, you will never win. So for the client, you need to talk about returns, okay, investment and returns, not on technical. Technical, you lose. I have this experience talking to technical. You know that the client is full of professors, deans of engineering. They teach energy efficiency. They teach electrical stuff. So how can you argue with all these professors with double degree? So I really avoid that. Okay, and the solutions that you put in, the next category is the challenges is the solutions that you put in. You know, there are a lot of solutions in the market. Sometimes the solution is high technology. Sometimes it's just a simple technology. You know, they are not. You cannot find the best solution. You can only find what is best available at that point of time. Okay, so you argue on that. The challenges is trying to find what technology, the current technology that suits the current condition. Not to wait until to have the best technology or everything in the market.
Lah, pagi tak sampai. Kau nak explain pasal rating tool lagi kan? Sebab kita tak decide lagi nak go tool mana. So kita kena explain dulu lead GBI MyCrash tu.
So, excuse me.
Pagi sampai petang lah. Mana sempat.
Hello. Please.
Tak tahu. Ambil full day lah. Kenapa?
Muri is sharing something confidential for your company, you know.
Tak adalah, sebab nanti kita akan ambil benda tu as decision diorang lah.
Okay. Who's that?
9 sampai 5 macam tu ke?
Hello.
Okay, Mr. Engineer Hub can continue. Yeah. I hope, yeah.
Boleh ya?
Yes, please, yeah.
Somebody just
common, expected, right? Sometimes you just don't realize it. Yes.
Yeah. Hold on. I'm also having problem in my slide right now. I'm not seeing any.
Yeah, I can see your slide. You can see your slide. Yeah.
Okay.
Challenges, right?
Yeah. But hold on. Okay. Okay, the challenges is financing. I sorry Zani. I got my problem computer now. I'm seeing you guys.
Okay.
I don't see my own slides. Hold on.
We can see your slide. We can see your slide.
My screen hilang pula dah.
Okay, let me. Can you unshare? I share your slide.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Is it okay now?
Yeah, it's okay now. Okay.
Alright. Please, you can share. Continue, please.
Okay, that brings me to my second last slide. The challenges is in the next challenges, the final challenges is in the region of the financing. I think kita dah talk a lot tadi on financing. To get the financer, the outside financer, not your own company. Talking about the debt financing ataupun the financing, you need to have all that knowledge lah, the business model. You have to have that confidence, in your own business model lah, basically. Just to convince the bank that you know what you're doing. Okay. And the problem that we face with the bank is sometimes your investment ni to them is too small. Sometimes they say it's too big. So you need to find a good region, a good punya amount for you to invest lah, a good blend lah, ataupun a good value lah. Okay. So I would say that EE ni to make worthwhile, try to invest between 3 million, all right, 3 million to 5 million to start off. Okay, don't go above that. But as you go along with a big amount of money, then you can start doing at closing a deal of about 10 million, up to 30 million lah. Cukup lah tu. You can do that every year lah. Don't go overboard on securing big projects. Not worth the risk sometimes, because unless you are working with a very huge big company lah. So I think with a medium company, we just go for that lah. Even with my backing of UiTM and Khazanah dulu pun, we do not put a very high punya value dulu lah. Later on baru kita go as you go along lah. Okay, after you got track record. Okay, so my last slide will be the takeaway points. I think for you to convince your board, your owner to invest is, you just look at their appetite of their returns lah, their appetite of returns that they want. You must be truthful to them, because sometimes the board wants a return which is not logic lah, not really reasonable in terms of what you are going into. Yes, they would like a high returns projects, but a higher returns coming in with high risk, and sometimes the market the current market will not give you the right return. I will give you an example. People thought that returns in renewable energy, especially the solar, will give you very high returns, okay, in the region of about 12, 13, 15%. But actually, the solar market right now is giving only about 7 to 8%. Okay, so solar rooftop giving slightly more. That one is if you know how to negotiate with the client, then you get slightly more lah, in the region of about low teens. Okay, the rest of renewable energy are very, very hard as it is. So energy efficiency, having said that, it is still you can still get double figure, mid teens, because the market is still new. There's a lot of opportunity at the moment. It's not matured where there are still low-hanging fruits lah. There are a lot of companies out there who has not done anything. They've done a lot of audits. They've got their energy management system coming up. Okay, they've done that, but they don't have, they've not spent money to actually implement the energy efficiency, except that they spend only small amount of money lah. They go slow by slow. So let's say that a company wants to spend in a large shot, there's still plenty of opportunities. So that's why try and explain that to the board lah. This is the situation. You must set up your team because of that, because you must set up your team which it's technical and commercially competent. So you need that technical and finance. Apa tadi Zeni? Technical Techno
finance
punya orang lah.
finance, yes.
Okay. And one thing that you want to deal with the client, you go direct to the top. You don't go and deal with the technical people down below. Technical people, they look at technical superiority, but actually you are doing a commercial case lah. So the top management will look at commercial case rather than technical. The technical will assist in say that yes, they've looked at the technical. The technical equipment that we put in will not disrupt their processes ataupun their operation. I think that should be enough. Okay, don't argue on the technical on having the best technical equipment to put in. Okay, I would say that if you cannot start on your own, then start with the partnership. That's what I did earlier with Zaini's old company. We started with the partnership. Then we go on your own lah. Okay. And my last takeaway points is my last advice is if you are an REM or certified energy manager representing the client, please do not please do not convince the client ataupun please do not focus or discussion on technical superiority. All right. Please just look at the commercial punya side lah, so that the client will convinced that the money that they are going to spend ataupun the money that they are not going to spend, they are going to open up and give the other people to come in and invest. And of course, the saving that they will get a little bit of saving because most of the savings will be given back to the ESCO company, right? So that's where they are part of the investment lah. They are also departing that money. So please concentrate on that rather than focus on technical superiority lah. It doesn't do you any justice to become a technical superior because you cannot implement the energy efficiency. So having the first step of energy management and energy audits, that's good enough. So you know where you are at the moment in terms of energy consumption. But the most important point is you must know the commercial part where that really the end game is to see the savings rather than just to know the savings that you're going to achieve. With that, I end my presentation. Encik Zaini, over back to you.
Thank you very much, Engineer Izham. Just nice. Okay, I think I'm personally enlightened, refreshing a lot of things. Quickly, I just would like to highlight on two key points that I captured. Very important one that shared by Engineer Izham just now. The first one, the importance of who provide the solution to understand the financial part, financial feasibility of the project. You know what? Because for example, right, if you go to the top management, they talk about returns, money, right? So if you have the very strong fundamental on that, right? You don't have to be an expert. You need to know very fundamental. For example, right? If we ask you, right, you get what minimum IR can you guarantee? All right. In your mind, you should have some kind of number that you can stand by and you can play around. What I mean play around like that, let's say I can guarantee you 12%, right? But with this, I can get better because I can reduce this cost, I can increase the cash flow here, right? If you can help me using your credential, I can get lower interest rate. That will help to increase IR. That's why this basic. You don't have to be the financial expert to be confident. So when you have that kind of understanding and you speak the same language with them, right? It's easier for them to come with the meeting point. That's one thing. Secondly, you are right, Engineer Izham, right? Don't come that like I'm the expert, I can do everything for you. No. Okay, your model of investment, all right, basically is all about giving them an option that will take away their financial risk, all right. At the same time, you give them faster result because you are investing, because if they go to the normal way, right, procurement, everything, they have to wait. Okay, I got some experience, my personal experience, we have about 5, shopping complexes, right? We know they are all enough, right? All need to be refitted. But for them to change the whole chiller system for the 5, cost them about 50 million, one shot. So when I meet up with the top management, right? And then I told them, they mentioned to me, okay, Cik Zaini, if you want to invest 50 million, one off, no way. Our company, but we have to wait. But same time, we are wasting. So this is so the option now. That's why we go to you. Your option faster, and you can do it short. So within about 14 months, all the 5 shopping complex will change everything, and they can enjoy saving and all that. So the point here, we can provide an option, all right, for them. Okay, because I can tell you, as Engineer Sam mentioned just now, energy efficiency technology solutions are proven. Okay, nothing new. Okay, you change old chiller to new chiller, I can guarantee you save energy. Nothing, it's not rocket science, you know. You don't have to tell people, you know, about it, you know. If you change your normal lighting to LED, even school children know you can save energy, right? So that's why don't argue on, I'm the expert, I can do everything for you. No, they can do it, but provided they got their own budget, they can do it themselves, even better than you. But this is the option you are offering. So I think that's the two key points that I would like to, you know, what I pick up from Engineer something just now. Now let's interact. Okay, now you can open your mind, you can open your video. Please ask question, share your thought, please. I don't want to become, you know, a lecturer here. Please, anyone, please switch on your video. I have something to share towards the end. Don't worry. Okay, in the slide. Okay, you can. Jazam, would you like to share? If they ask, do you like to? Can you give the slide to them?
Boleh.
Okay, so Jazam, it's okay to give you the slide. Okay, no problem. I can email. You can email to me. All right.
Boleh.
Okay, so now I open the question. I can see a few familiar faces here. Okay, Mr. Vemal. All right, Encik Sazwan, Encik Azim from Proton. Okay. Who is that? You know, Engineer Abu Harith from our former JKR. You know, key person EE, Dr. Dharma here. All right, please. Any question, any thought you'd like to share, please? Anyone? Please. All right. Anyone? How do you feel? Do you agree with us? You can disagree with us. Please disagree with us. We can be wrong because management solution, you know, this is management, you know, strategic. No book you can refer, there's no one book. J. Najib, Mr. Ling. Yes. Anyone? Dr. Dharma, any question?
Hi, Encik Zaini and Encik IR Izam. Very good explanation about EPC. I just wanted to add a bit more on the EPC projects and funding, right? The technical part also plays an important role, right? Sometimes a technical team who have make a wrong judgment, right, can lead the whole project into failure also. Even though the investment is there, and technically they have designed it wrongly, or you know, so you cannot get back the payback within the certain. So the technical team is also plays an important role. That proper calculation and all that is important before actually embarking into a EPC project. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Dharma. All right. Thank you for the sharing. How about others, please? Who can I can see Encik Hafiz, Mr. Voon.
Sorry, Encik Zaini, I just want to know, does Encik IR Izam agree to what I said just now, or?
Hey, Sifu, Mr. Dharma, Sifu. Yeah, yes. Of course. Yeah. Correct. So
no, because I have seen some projects go into failure sebab the engineers have designed something wrongly. So the payback supposed to be 3 tahun and then ended up jadi 5-6 tahun. You know? So you know, last time once there is sometimes people used to argue in this type of system, like you know, like I say, I have been long in the market, I know very well this chiller can save so much. But we said things like kalau dia tu 24 jam operation, of course you can get back the payback very fast. And this particular site, the payback was long. It's a 12 hours operation. And that's a mistake they have done. You know, the payback become double. You know, so then ended up the contract was 5 years. They don't make any money. Ended up not making anything. You know, so it's just wasted.
Correct, Mr. Dharma. I think I agree with you on that one. the technical model has got to be what do you call it? Super proof, yeah. So bulletproof, yes. And of course, you need to couple that with the right financial model, because a simple calculation of technical model payback differs from a financing returns calculation. So you might see a payback, on technical, a payback, a simple payback, which is probably katalah 3 tahun, 3 years. But if you plow that into a financial model, trying to take into account the cost of money, the cost of investment, so at the investor point of view, that could double the what do you call it, the returns, the period, the period for you to get the payback. So first, to get the technical model right first, betul, you're correct, technical right. Then when you put in the financial punya other stuff, that could see a very long period before you get your returns. So betul lah, in a way that it's not easy lah. It's not easy just to invest in a straightforward lah in terms of energy efficiency, EPC.
All right.
You're right. In this field, I know there's a lot of companies like want to get involved in EPC. I remember we went together with Zaini last time for one project. I mean, all the senior people withdraw tak nak masuk project ni because they offer 5 years contract, EPC. So the new companies actually went in and grabbed because ada opportunity lah, no. So but this is where the failure comes, and it was only 12 hours of operation. They nak tukar chiller and nak tukar lighting. How to get the payback? It's impossible. So players who are experienced enough, they back off. Bukan dia tak nak masuk and win the project. No point win the project, right? So this is something that we have to learn. EPC is not something that everybody just go and grab it. Sometimes companies see the risk factors, whether is it necessary to go in or we look for other opportunity, right?
Yeah.
Correct. Mr. Herma.
Can I add on that? Okay, I think that one is for me. Engineer Sam mentioned just now, right? You somehow you need to have a trophy project, right? As a newcomer, nothing wrong with that. For me, if you want to take that kind of opportunity, fair, but you cannot over-promise. For example, you have to be truthful to the prospect. For example, okay, you know that the project, I know in normal circumstances, right, it's not really attractive, all right? But it can work if you're willing to negotiate something. For example, we can extend the contract period. All right, for example, okay, and then maybe we can negotiate on the sharing. It can work, all right? But both somehow it must be kind of based on transparent. It's not that, you know that it's 5 years, not feasible. I give you rule of thumb, right? Very simple rule of thumb, all right? For EPC projects, your contract period double your simple payback period. Simple like that. Okay? Simple like that. I'm talking about in Malaysia, contract less than up to 10 years. Okay? Your contract period should be double your payback period. So if your payback period, simple payback period is 4 years. So impossible. You cannot make profit if you say your contract only 5 years. Impossible. Ridiculous. But if the owner, okay, no problem. We are, for example, I'm a government agency. I don't make money from saving. I got budget every single year. But I want to show that, I can do something without my money. Okay lah, okay. We can negotiate, okay, we can, no problem. We can or we can get less sharing, okay, or we can expand the contract period, and all that. So it can work. At the end of the day, for example, government, right? I'm not businessman. Okay, that's why if you look in example, give example in US, the EPC contract at government sector up to 30 years. Okay, up to 30 years. Okay, if you go to Europe, Ireland and all that, right? The EPC model, the concept very simple. You invested everything, okay? You recoup your investment 100%, escrow everything, and after you make some profit, after that, hand over to the government. Simple like that. Okay, it can work. So it's no somehow fixed rule, but somehow be truthful, be transparent, and don't somehow just say yes just because you want to get a trophy, and at the same time you will create the misleading information to others. That's because what you do will reflect others. Okay, and that's my sharing on that. One that pull out is what my company I pull off.
Yeah, sama. I got the experience of basically we didn't go into tender because we see that the condition is just ridiculous and we just cannot meet that. So that's most mistakes that the client make is always putting up the tenure at their whims and fancies without knowing the condition. We've seen a lot of tender that they want to stick the returns of they dictate. Contoh, the shared saving must be 80-20, and the tenure must be 7 years, and we say just cannot because
you don't even conduct audit yet, yeah? No.
Yes, and it's impossible. It's all based on negotiation, and so again, I agree with Mr. Nama there. There are plenty of tender out there that the experienced player will just say bye. Right. We do not want to even buy the tender at all. We just forget it lah.
Okay, how about others? Can others? I have quite a number of people. You can see here, Mr. Tan, okay, Tan Chia Cheng, right? Mr. James Lam, okay, Mr. Eng Kifu, okay, No Izzati, all right. We got quite a number of people here, okay. And the engineer No Izzidin, you want to say something? You are not in RE business, right? Can you share something? What do you think? Engineer Izzidin. Okay. Anyone? Encik Khairin, Encik Hasanul. I can see from my screen here. You have another 20 minutes, before we end up our session.
Assalamualaikum, Encik Zaini.
Waalaikumsalam, yeah. Encik Azim, yes, please, from Proton, yes, Encik Azim.
I'm representing a client lah. So
okay.
Means on client side.
You still working with Proton, right?
Yeah, still working with Proton.
All right.
So client side perspective lah, what happened with the EPC, but I don't just want to share some what is the problems that we face lah through EPC. So what I can see, if the EPC ESCO they don't do a comprehensive baseline study, so that will lead for a failure in EPC. So long term, because of their initial the engineer have done a very not detailed baseline study, so they just estimate everything, and they establish the contract and everything is all written up. After the implementation, we see that we cannot achieve. It's not feasible to achieve the EPC contract. Yeah. So that is some of the experience.
What you're facing. Yes. Okay. So you want our opinion, right? Thank you very much, Engineer Azim, for sharing. Any more? Tu je. Encik Azim, tu je ke?
Hello.
Encik Azim, tu je ke? Want us to respond first?
Yes, you can respond.
Okay, Encik Zam, ada respond tak? Encik Zam, please respond first, our panel.
Yeah. I have to agree with Mr. Azim there. Without the proper baseline and then agreement with the client on that baseline, you potentially you will face problem in the future, and the baseline has got to be done together lah. I would say don't just rely on one party to do the baseline. You must have the two parties lah, basically the vendor who's going to do that, plus also the client that knows very well what's happening in the site lah, industry. Otherwise, you cannot find they call it a solution for that. And again, in a commercial contract like ini, we are not going to argue on the best savings to achieve. Okay, we are just saying that we agree on this typical baseline based on this certain conditions. On these conditions, that's what we agree upon. Meaning, if you don't, if the contract says that we don't achieve that target later, I got to compensate you. And if there's any changes in the baseline due to the fact that things are not, due to something which is uncontrollable. Contoh, kita ada satu ni sekarang ni, when COVID came in, nobody knows what happened. I mean, we anticipated about COVID, right? So we had to change in our agreement, what we call it change of, there's a material change in the agreement. So we totally changed the baseline.
Yep.
So also you must be aware that you know that is allowable lah, that you change the baseline. Tetapi kalau memang wrongly do the baseline because of there's no change in material you know changes at all, that's where I think memang betul lah kena the penting tu awal-awal tu ada baseline, the audit tu memang kena buat orang kata apa, jangan estimate lah, you must do a proper job lah. Betul aja ni kan?
Yes, okay. So my response pula, okay, Encik Azim, because you know what? Because MNV is the backbone of EPC, right? For me, as an ESCO, if you really, for me, if you already so what EPC, you know MNV is the backbone of that. Because the moment that if you don't resolve that between your client, that kind of, you know, whatever MNV method, you know, you have trouble. As an ESCO, you have big risk, you know, because, you know, they will always dispute. Because, you know, for example, in a 5 to 7 year contract, you know, I got experience 3 times management change. All right. So every time they change the management, they question, do we really safe or not? Therefore, that's why if you go for APC, one of the very critical, you know, area that you need to look as a client, the ESCO must propose the proper MNV plan. MNV plan, normally you don't simply based on what they propose, you know, refer to certain protocol. We got IPMVP, we got all that. We have to base on that because globally they are using that. As because, you know, if you have any dispute, if you want to call for third party to argue, right, they will refer to certain standard. Therefore, as a client, I would suggest if you have somebody propose APC, make sure they submit a proper MNV plan, and you have study under there. You are convinced, and then you can agree on that. Okay, you know what happened now? I don't know what caused that. You know, one thing in Malaysia, we are new in this somehow. That's why sometimes, you know, the person who audited different person. Okay, even company that got the job different company, and even company that conducted the audit they engage different company. Simple like that. So therefore, it's lot of, you know, other change of evidence tu banyak. Therefore, to measure that, you know, that to make sure that the whole value chain to complete, right? Okay, it's very, very difficult. Therefore, EPC is not everyone's game. If you want to do EPC, you must know the whole value chain of the process. Okay, process, you know, that's what, it's not everyone's game. That's why only in Malaysia, anyone can claim I can do EPC. In Thailand, even in Thailand, okay, in US, you cannot simply claim I'm an ESCO can do EPC. They are binded by the law. But for now, that's what we have. So my suggestion to you as a client, make sure whatever proposed EPC, make sure they submit a proper MNV plan, and then you have to discuss, agree upon. If not, don't go for that, because not only they having problem later, you also have problem to answer to your management. Okay, that's my advice on that. Thank you. And I see Mr. Vermal Sharian, you want to ask question just now, please.
Yes.
Yes.
Izam.
Yes, please.
Thanks, Encik Zaini.
So, my team dulu ni sama lah, dia pun dia terror ni, dia tahu dah.
They have mini reunion here. Okay,
yeah. My former boss lah. So, I mean, I always thankful that I work with Encik Izam and the team, of course.
Okay, you can put that aside later. Now we can ask question first.
Okay, so the first question I think you already answered, because I wanted to ask regarding the pandemic itself. Because when we draft the contract, of course, the issue, you don't anticipate things like this pandemic and everything. How do you address that? So I think now you already answered that. My second question is about the finance itself. So I think we all know when we talk about EE, the way how it's being treated under the finance is treated as leasing, right? So unless you are in pioneer status or you got this exemption when you receive the revenue, of course your IRR and also your revenue looks better. But if not so, how do you sort of tackle that issue? Is it something to do with your financial modeling itself, or there are ways in terms of investment? How do you do that?
Okay, are you asking me, Abhiman? Okay.
Yeah, you are the seafood.
Okay. The issue I think you're asking is it's basically an accounting standard lah.
Okay, correct. Because that will affect your IR
Not really. It will not affect your IRR. It's more of a how you present your accounts.
Okay.
It's all accounting standards. Nothing to do with your IRR. Nothing to do with your cash flow. I think in a decision for investment in EE, the main thing is you need to know your cash flow. In any business, all right. So the one you're asking is whether it's treatment and all that. That one is just accounting standards where you need to present that, and then at the end of the year, when they want to present your accounting, what do you call it, result, that's where the issue of leasing blah blah blah, because it will show whether you have upfront, you make profit upfront, and you got to pay tax. Those are the things lah, the effects. So to mitigate that, this is where the contract has got to address that if it's the other macam this accounting ni, I am not very familiar, but I know in a bit on the surface that there is because of concession when you address the contract, there is an issue of concession where you share the risk, ada yang you don't share the risk. So those are the things that takes into effect. Is the same thing that we face when we sign contract for renewable energy, concession renewable energy. Where at the end of the year, if it's a concession that you don't share the risk or you don't take the benefit, something like that, that's bound to affect you at tax level taxation . So again, I am not the party to I am not well versed in accounting because we are not accountants, but roughly those are the things it affects the accounting. I wouldn't be so much worried on that. You better ask the accountant CFO, because
so we can still exclude that. So when we run our initial analysis and everything, we can still exclude that for
nothing to do with initial. That one is just how you put in the contracts, so that you can get away with that. But again you get away with one, there's another problem in so that one is a class of assets, they call it. They are the finance list. What else? So anyway, is the same problem that I'm facing right now in UiTM. Even before, I think in Synergy, but it depends on how you structure the contract later. Get your accountant, get the auditor.
Auditor.
To advise in the next contract, the tax auditor to advise, so that you might run away with that. But again, it depends on your company punya financial policy. They probably like that. So if they like that, then you got to tailor-make your contracts according to whatever your company punya accounting policy does.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Jason.
I got one question from the chat box, from Encik Hafiz Azizan. Okay. How convincing you can persuade a client to dispose the current asset? Let's say he has a book value of 3 million in 15 years shelf life with new asset and all that. Okay, inilah dia je. My quick question answer to this. You have to prepare the business case proposal lah. Satu, you must start with the solid technical study to quantify the potential. Alright, and then you have to prepare the financial punya assessment to show all the returns and all that. And then you have to package them together. Bila project ni, bila business case ni, dia tu elemen tu. Satu dia punya, even dia talk about costing tu kan, dia two part. Satu dia punya project cost tu. Last time ni kan, highlight to them the what potential cost avoided tu. Okay, what they do something, they do nothing. Show that value that they have to pay without replacing their old so-called old asset is not efficient. And then you talk about the benefits and all that. So this is always again my quick answer on that, right? Prepare the business case, start with the proper solid study, show the potential. And then you come up with the financial analysis, and then you package together, and then look, highlight on the potential cost that should have avoided, and what that can impact the business. Okay, so Encik Izam, nak tambah tak pasal tu soalan ni?
Tak, perfect.
Alright.
Perfect. Yep.
Okay, anyone question ada Engineer Haris tadi? Abu Haris tadi nak tanya. Please, Engineer Abu Haris.
Okay, thank you Engineer Izham for enlightening in terms of the business. Tapi cumanya persoalan saya sini not so much on the business model ini, because I've been involved in the asset management for the past 12 years with the government. If you can enlighten to us or share in terms of your model yang you buat dekat UiTM Holding tu, I presume probably you are looking into the energy conservation and towards the campus, is it? So do they really look into the FM contract yang kita dah bangunkan tu?
Oh, okay. Assalamualaikum. Tuan Haji.
Ya.
Okey. Saya punya experience kalau dengan government ni memang the only experience yang ada is dengan UiTM, but then UiTM ni dia pun bukannya totally 100% government lah dia ni. So I handle dengan dia punya FM lah. Okay. Before that saya dengan Vimal tadi tu kita buat dengan UIA. So UIA pun not really government. So far kita dengan government memang kita tak pernah lagi because of the complication of the structure dengan the government. Not so much of the business model, but because of the model with the government. And if correct me if I'm wrong, kalau untuk government building, dia ada dia punya own performance contracting punya, sepatutnya lah dah come up kan Encik Zaini. Dia belum lagi dah ada draft.
EPC ada lagi.
Belum juga dah banyak kali cakap kan.
Expect another 3 pilihan raya kot.
Okay. So the problem is coming up with the EPC.
Saya ikut keadaan sekarang ni, saya rasa mungkin a few more PM kot. Tengoklah insyaAllah.
Jadi payah sikit because EPC agreement tu kita tak boleh bagi kita punya model. Kita kena kalau kita nak bagi kita punya own EPC agreement, then we fall under what we call it under EPU, Economic Planning Unit, ataupun under UKAS. Okay. But the problem about UKAS ni, dia hanya boleh bagi kontrak EPC for, if I'm not mistaken, up to 7 years sahaja.
7 years, lepas tu,
7 years lah? Okay.
More than 7 years kena pergi UKAS.
Yes. So, dan kita pula, kalau setakat tukar lampu ataupun kecil-kecil, okey lah. Tapi sekarang investment kita ni melibatkan chiller, macam Encik Zani cakap tadi kan. Bila chiller besar-besar tu, then the cost will be more. So because of that, with up to 7 years, we cannot do it with the chiller. With the full blown chiller punya tukar, we cannot do it. With the full blown chiller, we are looking at contract nothing less than 12 years. It goes up to 10 to 15 years lah. Selalunya dalam bau as an investor kita dapat return. Macam tadi Zani lah rule of thumb tadi. Rule of thumb memang betul, tepat sekali. It's 2 kali daripada dia panggil the period tu. So imagine kalau kita buat chiller tu, chiller kita dah invest pop-pop nak dapat balik duit dalam katalah 7 tahun kan, 7 tahun. Tapi bila kita dah ada financing semua tu, then it goes up to 14 years. So I need about 14 years punya agreement to make that returns yang board of director dah bagi. Dan board of director pula dia kata return tu bukan dia minta tinggi, dia minta dalam lingkungan yang tadilah saya kata tadi, dalam lingkungan 12 hingga 15% paling tinggi. Sebab kalau tinggi pada tu orang kata dah bisnes tak inilah kan, tak apa ni, bisnes tinggi sangat. Kalau bawah pada 10%, orang kata baik tak payah buat, baik dia pergi invest kat tempat contoh macam jadi kontraktor ada tinggi kan. Jadi benda tu yang nak balance tu. Jadi kita memang kalau government punya memang susah. Cuma dengan UiTM ni sebab which is kita ni, saya ni anak syarikat UiTM juga. So sesama anak syarikat kita dengan UiTM kita boleh bertolakan. So jadi UiTM dia ada special punya walaupun dia government tapi dia ada special lah untuk dia kata dia bagi balik kepada anak syarikat dia, mana duit tu is left pocket, right hand pocket, lebih kurangnya lah. Jadi itu tak ada masalah. Jadi itu je lah yang saya boleh komen dari segi projek government ni.
Kita dah sejam setengah dekat habis ni. So kan kono ni kan, tapi itulah kita kena stick to the time. Okay, kita have to keep. Okay, Nado, thank you very much. Okay, ada satu lagi saya tengok dekat chat box ni, satu kata ada buat hospital agenda, understood. Okay, I think what we discussed today is not, we are not talking about no EPC happen. There are some happen. But I'm talking about, happen in a open way where everyone can come on board. Okay, agenda case, you are anak syarikat agenda, you are the concession holder for the FM. Alright, just like macam UiTM telah, right pocket, left pocket, you can negotiate the condition and all that. Alright, but I'm talking about open kind of approach. You can't see any open where everyone can come, fairly and compete in the tender, for example, open tender. To answer, okay, that's why I don't have that kind of open model yet in the country that is actually the one that involve government sector. Because in all countries in the world who are successful in EPC, all started at the government facilities. Example, the pioneer in US. Alright, for example, Therefore, my comment to Haji kata tadi kan, my comment to the way I look at it now, okay, I'm very blunt, okay. You can send this message to government people yang buat contract tu lah. With the current contract you are drafting now, it doesn't work. I can tell you now. Because it's simply because what they're trying to do, they try to impose the normal project kind of contract approach into EPC model. Okay? Okay, it doesn't work that way. Okay, you must find, you know, because you have to have the mindset that doing new things, to achieve something new way, you have to do some adjustment. In any country, they must do some modification in the procurement. Okay, so you cannot adopt, you cannot enforce the normal contract approach. For example, you put the performance bond. Okay, who spend the money now? Okay, you don't spend the money, you ask for performance bond. Okay, and you put all that normal contract condition, it doesn't work that way. So that's why there must be some kind of, you know, it's not that, because normally the concept of VC model, what we have tried at the private sector, it protect both party. Both party, right? It's a fair. It's a fair. But I can tell you, the risk actually, the nature of the EPC contract, the risk more on the ESCO. Okay? The risk on the ESCO, because they are the one put up their money, they have to make sure it works. You know, I got experience in Thailand, with being sabotaged. That one away, tak masuk contract tu. Okay? So different. So that's how risk they are taking. And I mentioned just now, right? We invested about 140 million in about 5 years, right? 3 stages. Suddenly the company close the factory, move to China. We just managed to break even. You know how to salvage. We managed to sell some other motor and all that to salvage the cost. But now we are still. I think my partners, they have in trouble with the bank now because that's the risk. I think that should be good enough to give some idea, all right? But for personally, as a practitioner, I never give up in this EPC whatever it is. No, but for me, that's why I decided. You know, 2 years back, I decided, okay, I'm not giving up with the EPC, but I try to use all my experience, right, my knowledge, on to educate more. So I can so when I don't have EPC project now, I can guarantee I can be independent. I can give talks, you know, independently because I have no interest. Okay, there's something. So I think that's so. I think we have to come to the end before we stop. Okay, I just like to share this last line. Okay, so if you look at overall, you know, the overall part. Okay, talking about energy efficiency, there are many barriers. Okay, and today we just discussed about this financial part. Okay, there are many other barriers. So we talk about only financial part today, but there are many other factors has become barrier for energy efficiency. So this is something need to be addressed. I think some of it now being addressed by government, for example, the regulatory, the law, all right, and all that. But we need to have one major thing that we don't have now is our national level policy. Okay, you know what? When I read one paper here, okay, I got this one paper, research, all right. One of the way, you know, to overcome barrier in even investment on energy efficiency. You look at number 4 here. Okay, this is what happened in many countries where the government has a specific policy on financial institution. Okay, for example, in Thailand, you know, they got a low interest rate, you know, only up 3% when they started the ESCO industry last time. Okay, there are many. So there must kind of policy level where somehow they make it mandatory. For example, the financial institution allocate some fund for this at some kind of, you know, normal rate, you know, not normal rate, the rate that enough for short and long term, short and medium term, just to kick off the industry. So when industry become mature, all right, you can compete at the interest rate at the normal market price. I think that's all. Okay, I think that's all from here. And one more thing here. Okay, EE now if you just talk about EE, difficult to let people to hear. So now if you look at EE, have you heard about this ESG? Okay, environmental, social, and governance has become a jargon now, right? So energy efficiency can fall under the environment. It's a part of the measure to reduce the GHG emission. So this is how we're going to sell it. Okay, because company don't look, if you're talking about saving, if you talk about saving, I can guarantee you, saving not always sell. Okay, saving not always pretty to all. Okay, so don't sell saving, sell others that really the concern of the industry. You know, maybe sometimes nothing but money. It's about recognition. I'm greener than you. Okay, doesn't matter how I do it. You know, doesn't matter, but I can show to every year I reduce kilowatt hour GHG emission this kilowatt per ton. Kiloton, whatever, you know. So I contributed to the sustainable development and all that. Okay, so that's basically all about it lah. Okay, with that, I think we have dah lebih 5 minit. Okay, okay, thank you. I will say again, okay, thank you very much. Okay, to Engineer Izham, all right, for your sharing, your insightful sharing, all right. I'm honored to have you today. And then another one, okay, thank you for all. Okay, the highest number I showed just now is we have about 42, okay, came for this session, you know, just for the record. Okay, I know some have left already, but doesn't matter. Thank you very much again, all right, for your time. For those who wanted to get a slide, you go to the chat box. I have the email there. You email to that, okay, email to the address. I can reply to all of you with a slide. Don't worry. Okay, I can reply to you with this. I think Engineer Izham has give the concern, you know, to share the slide. No problem with that. Just a knowledge, right? The more we share, more we get. All right. Okay. With that, again, thank you very much, everyone. So I hope if you have any suggestion or idea, what should be my next topic? Okay, this should be my, I would say, my last session before I move to Saudi in 2 weeks, inshallah. Okay, I hope I can still continue this session every month. All right, I can. Maybe I can have the session from Saudi the next time. Okay, so with that, so I was just being engaged to lead a lead consultant. This is a new challenge to me also. I was tasked to grow a new business, EE business in Saudi for one company. It's a new challenge. So wish me all the best, inshallah. Okay, so inshallah kita jumpa lagi in the next session. So with that, again, kalau yang tersalah cakap, salah apa, kurang tu saya minta maaf. Okay. Ujung jari dan ujung apa, ujung kepala, ujung kaki, okay. And then again, thank you very much to everyone. And then assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh and salam sejahtera. Okay, stay safe everyone, stay safe, and the most important part, stay healthy, yeah, stay healthy. Alright, assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh dan salam sejahtera. Okay, bye.
Thank you. Okay.